Well, just on behalf of the Drumming Club in Aughrim, the Fifing and Drumming Club, we'd just like to thank Philip for the invitation to come along tonight. And it's always a privilege and a pleasure to come out with the drums and to play a bit. And we enjoy it, and it's nice to be fit to share your culture and share your music. Maybe some of you don't find much music in it. It's sort of an acquired taste, the Lambeg drum. But we're glad to have the fifers along as well, of course, just not the drums. And it's a club that we have out in Aughrim. Maybe you've heard us before, you've seen us, listened to us, and we meet over the winter months, the odd time, maybe not very steady, but we do meet over the winter months if it's something to meet for or something to go out to. But as it comes into the summer, we're there most Tuesday nights out in the hall in Aughrim Orange Hall. And we'd like to put out the invitation if anybody else is interested or anybody else would like to learn how to fife or how to drum. We'd be glad to see you out there any Tuesday night. And we're particularly interested in fifers. We can get plenty of drummers, but we're always short of fifers. And you can see we've got a different shirt with us there tonight. I'm sure you recognise Simon, the local fellow from Tobermore. We'd like to thank Simon for coming along. Simon's a good help to us out in Aughrim, and he is more or less a club member out there. He just hasn't got the shirt yet. But we also have Billy here, Billy Arnold. I don't know if you recognise Billy or not. He's not in the blue shirt tonight either, but Billy's originally from Salterstown, and he played with us in Aughrim band all those years ago. He and I went to school together. He now resides in Loughinsholin, and he plays in the Cranny Fife and Drumming Club over there. And we're very much indebted to Billy out in Aughrim because he comes and he tutors the fifing. So we'd like to note that word of thanks to Billy once again for pulling us out and for helping us. He's very faithful and travels up to Aughrim most Tuesday nights to help the fellas learn to fife. We have a couple of new fifers on the floor tonight. This is their inaugural concert, and that's Jack over in the far end there, and Alan, and beside Simon there in the blue shirt. They've just picked up the fifing this year, and they're going really well. And then we have Stephen there, and needs no introduction. I'm sure you all know Stephen. Aughrim man, and he's also out in Aughrim with us in the Aughrim Club. And Ryan McKinney, of course, the McKinney man, and Jordan Kennedy, getting mixed up in the brothers, Jordan Kennedy, and then with Nicky Brown here, who is a 96 man out of Salterstown. So Lower Aughrim Fife and Drumming Club, it's a wide and varied mixture. It's sort of an international thing, you could say. But we're glad to be along tonight, and we're going to just do another tune before we maybe say another wee word after that. But what's our next tune, Billy? Boys of Belfast. Billy is right. And this is maybe a tune you've heard before. It's a familiar enough tune. There's one that's used quite often for the fife and drum, and it's a nice wee tune. It's one of my favourites. The Boys of Belfast. Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, or if your ear was keen enough, that was a different tune on the fife, but it's also a different drumming style, different drumming tune. The first one was a wee bit more open, and that there was more closed in. That's what we drummers talk about. But just a word on the styles of drumming there. If you were taking the drums to a drumming match, and by the way, you can get a drumming match nearly any weekend, and around the vicinity here, there's a few clubs in Northern Ireland, and the local one here is the Mid-Ulster Drumming Association, and they would have drumming matches most weekends, and for definite from this time of the year on in. Wouldn't be so much in the winter time, obviously, but from here right through to maybe November time, you could go to a drumming match if you were of a mind to. But there's quite a lot of work involved in that there, and it would mean starting maybe on a Monday night and getting the drum put together and getting it pulled up a bit and set into the press and working at it maybe 2 or 3 nights that week before you'd have it ready to go to the match on the Friday night or the Saturday night. And the drums need to be very tight for the matches. And even with a good tight drum and that sound well, you still mightn't get anything, for there's normally a better drum there than the one that you go with. But it's quite time consuming, and we're a bit more relaxed than that there. And the drums just don't have to be so tight for this sort of an occasion. And we enjoy the time drumming. This is known as time drumming. If you were going to a drumming match, it would be more or less a constant roll, a steady rhythm all the time. And it isn't the drummer that's judged in the drumming match, or it's not the style of drumming, it's the shell itself, or it's the heads rather than it's on the drum. It's a combination of the shell and the heads and the tone and the tension, and the judges that would stand, and there's like a ring formed, or a loose ring, and your drum goes into the ring and it's judged, and maybe go through two or three different stages, 2 or 3 different rounds. But as I was saying there, that first tune wee drum was a bit more open, a bit more relaxed, and the second one there was just a wee bit more closed in with the drumming. And a bit similar to the steady constant roll that you would do at the drumming match. The problem with going to drumming matches is it's very sore heads, because whenever you're up at that sort of tension, they're breaking all the time on you. And it can be a costly enterprise. A set of heads nowadays is maybe 120, 130 pounds. So you wouldn't want to be going through too many heads in the season. And just a point of note on that there, we were coming with the 3 drums here tonight. But about 3:30 this afternoon, we had one of them in the press, and it ended up giving a bit of a crack out of it. And the heads blew out of it, as we would talk about. But we're fit to get it put back together again, and it's here with us tonight. Something that you couldn't have done years ago. As I was saying there, it takes you about a full week to get your drum ready for the match. But years ago, the old way that pulled drums took them maybe a week or a fortnight to get the drum pulled up. They were just pulling it by hand, sitting on a bench, pulling the drum and getting the ropes taut. But now we have the advantage of having drum presses, things that are they're made out of steel, with like big hay kicker wheels or man-made wheels, and the drum sits in there, and you can wind it up with a bit of pressure, and it takes a lot of the hassle out of it. So we are fit to get the drum put back together again tonight and get it here in short time, or very short time. The drums, there's about 7 or 8 hoops in the drum. They're really just a series of hoops. Maybe 6 hoops, as it depends on the type of shell. There's different shells. This is a one-piece shell, the oak, and that's about 2 foot wide, and it's all made out of one plank of oak. It's only about 6 mil thick, and it's planed right away down. And then over a period of time, with steam and a lot of slow process, it's made into the round hoop. But you've got the hoop that the drum's made out of itself. That drum there has got a 2-piece shell. It's two halves. It's made out of 2 bits about a foot wide. There's a single piece. That's a single piece. That's one hoop, the drum itself. Then you've got a centre hoop inside that, about 1.5 inches by maybe another 1/2 inch, a hoop of timber. You've 2 mouth hoops out the outside the edge of the shell. And then you've got these 2 big hoops here called the racing hoops. And then holding the skin, the goat skin, onto the head, or holding the head, then there's another hoop in there. So it's just a series of hoops and then a bit of a rope around it, and that all goes together to make the beautiful sound that you hear. We'll have some more of that sound. We're going to play an Aughrim tune. Open the door. But don't open it yet. We're not going out yet. We're still on Aughrim to play after this. So listen to the title, Open the Door. Saying there about the drums, and these particular drums here, this is a Lloyd's drum here, belonged to Aughrim, and we'll check back in the minute book for when it came into the Lloyd's there in Aughrim. There was two of them come together, they both painted exactly the same. It's hard to tell the difference on them, or the difference of them apart, but they came into the Lloyd's about 1936 out in Aughrim. They came from Belfast as a word of some man young bringing them from Belfast in the back of a lorry for the Lloyd's there out in Aughrim. And there's another drum here, this one here, this belongs to Wesley Gilmer, and it was bought some years ago, and whenever you hear the price you know how many years ago it was. It was bought for £30. It wasn't a day or yesterday. And him and his brother, or Wally Gilmer, bought it for £15 each. They have a share in it, they had a share in it, that's the rate, Wally Gilmer. And I was just talking to Wes about it there before we came in tonight, and he was saying that was a week's wages then. So it was quite a few years ago, I just don't know how many years ago it was, but it was a fair while ago whenever £15 or £20 was a week's wages. So that's how long that drum's been about. There was a different painting on it. There was a horse drum. There was a painting of King Billy on that drum until a couple of years ago there, whenever Wesley got it, the paint changed on it there. And this, you see it's in memory of brother William James Gilmer. And it's got the crest there for the Ulster B Specials. And the painting of that drum was done by a man down at Garva what's his name? Can't remember his name. William McGowan. He paints banners and all as well, but he's an excellent painter, and you can see there from how the drums are painted that it's really, really good painting. And then this drum here, this one here was bought by Jordan here himself, what, a couple of 3 years ago. Where did you get it, Jordan?
Market Hill.
Came from Market Hill, so that's good drumming country down there. And it was a plain drum whenever Jordan bought it. There was no painting on it, and then Jordan has got the painting as something that's dear to his own heart, and that's the Moravian Church, or the wee Church of Ireland Church out in Gracefield, or Ballinapickin. That's Jordan's home village. And again, that there was painted by McGowan as well. And you can see there, he's a real good painter. He's excellent at his job. But there's some great paintings on the drums, and it's nice to see a pile of drums coming maybe to the drumming match and all the different paintings. And it's just something else, another wee bit of added interest to the drumming fraternity and drumming fraternity. Don't think I have much else to tell you. Other than the fifers here, the fifes are all handmade. And they're made, most of them is made by a man, Wilby Wilson from Larne. It's very hard to get fifes nowadays. I think he's one of the few fife makers that's left in the country. And since the fifing and drumming has come back a bit, and there's a lot of different clubs throughout the country, I would say this man can't keep enough fifes getting made. Nearly anybody you're talking to, any fifes that's bought comes from Wilby Wilson of Larne. What do you pay for a fife now, Willie? 60 or 70 pounds for a fife, so it can be quite an expensive hobby. But the only thing about the fife is it's not like the heads. Once you buy one, it should last you your lifetime. So we'll hear the fifes again one last time, and we'll be playing the banks of Kells Water. We'll walk out to that. So thanks very much for persevering and for listening to us tonight. Thank you.